Okay, now we're going to talk about working backwards. So you've just learned how to graph a circle on a coordinate plane. And now we're going to work backwards. So instead of giving you the equation and you making the picture, I want the equation. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight your title for me, please. And notice right here, I gave you the equation of a circle. You technically don't have to have that memorized. However, you're going to memorize it because you're going to be using it a lot and it's not that hard. So look at this first question, and I want you to see if you can answer it. In order to write an equation of a circle, what two pieces of information do I need? In order for me to be able to write an equation of a circle, I need two pieces of information. What do I need? Do you know? Well, I need to know what the center is, and I need to know what the radius is. If I know these two pieces of information, I can determine the equation of a circle. So in this equation, can you tell me where my center is? Well, my center is HK. And remember, HK is always the opposite of what's in the equation. And my radius is always the square root of whatever that number is. So in this case, it would just be R. So let's look at these examples and see if we can figure it out. It says, write the equation of a circle whose center is 1, -3, and my radius is 5 units. So, okay, I'm going to do x, and then I'm going to do the opposite of h, because minus h is just the opposite of h. So, the opposite of h, so this is h, this is k. So, the opposite of h is -1, so x minus 1 squared, plus y, and then the opposite of k, so k is -3, so this will be plus 3 squared, equals my radius squared. Since my radius is 5, well, what's 5 squared? It's 25. Alright, so let's look at the next one. Write the equation of a circle whose center is -3, 5, and the radius is 4. So this is h and this is k. So x, the opposite of h, so plus 3 squared, plus y, the opposite of k, is minus 5 squared, equals my radius. So my radius squared, so since my radius is 4, my radius squared is 16. Let's look at the next one. Write the equation of a circle whose center is at the origin and the radius is 10. So notice the origin. What's origin mean? Well, that just means 0, 0. So I could do this. X minus 0 squared plus y minus 0 squared equals, my radius is 10, so 100. But this is extremely useless because I don't need minus 0 and minus 0. So I could write this a prettier way and just say x squared plus y squared equals 100. And I would be done. So go ahead and pause this video and take a stab at number 4. And then we'll go over it. So number 4 says, write the equation of a circle whose center is -2, 4, and the diameter is 24. So notice it says the diameter is 24. So since the diameter is 24, I need to know what the radius, so what the radius is. So that's 12. So what's it going to look like? X plus 2 squared plus y minus 4 squared equals 144. Awesome. So now let's look at a picture. Looking at a picture, determine the equation of a center. Determine the equation of a circle. So, in order to write an equation of a circle, what pieces of information do I need to know? I need to know what the center is. I need to know what the radius is. Looking at this picture, what's my center? -3, 2. Because obviously that's the center of my circle. And to find the radius, I'm just counting blocks. 1, 2. So my radius is 2. So, the equation. X plus 3 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals 4. Hopefully you're all with me and there aren't any issues, but if so, make sure you're asking questions so I know where I can help. Let's look at number 2. Center. Radius. I need to know. My center is 3, -2. My radius, counting blocks again, is 2. Awesome. So x minus 3 squared plus y plus 2 squared equals 4. So I want you to go ahead and pause this video, and I want you to do the last one on your own. When you finish the last one, unpause it, and the answer will be on the board for you. Hopefully you got this right here, x plus 1 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals 25. If not, make sure you come and talk to me. So now I want you to go ahead and flip your paper for me, please. Let's look at these ones. These ones we call a little bit more trickier. It says, write the equation of a circle given the center of a circle and a point that lies on my circle. So in order to write an equation of a circle, what two pieces of information do I need to know? I need to know the center, I need to know the radius. Alright, so let's check this out. I know my center is 0, 0. How about my radius? Well, with my radius, I can't count blocks when it's this spot. Now, I probably could count this, but it doesn't look like it goes exactly over to 6, because this would be a radius right here as well. But it doesn't look like it goes all the way over to 6. So here's my question. How do I find the length of that? I got to do the distance formula. So the square root of x1, 0, minus x2, 5 squared, plus 0 plus 3 squared. So I get 25 plus 9. So I get the square root of 34. So the square root of 34 would be 5.8. So my radius is 5.8 units. So okay, well fine. How do I now write the equation? So it would just be x squared plus y squared equals r squared. So what's 5.8 squared? 5.8 squared, let's see, 33.64. So instead of writing a decimal over here, you always round to the nearest whole number. So 33.64, well, that makes 34. And this is the equation of my circle. You might want to write that down, that r squared should always round to the nearest whole number. So since it was 33.64, that rounds to 34, and I'm done. Awesome. Let's go ahead and look at the next one. In order to write my equation, I need to know my center. I need to know my radius. My center is 0, 0 again. Well, what's my radius? I gotta find the distance of this. Oh boy, my favorite. Square root. Negative 5 minus 0 squared plus 5 minus 0 squared. So I have 25 plus 25. So I have the square root of 50. So the square root, if I can work a calculator. Square root of 50 is 7.1. So I'm good to write my equation. X squared plus y squared equals 7.1 squared. 50.41, which rounds to 50. And I'm done. Have you noticed something? Have you noticed that this number matches the number inside my radical before I square root it to get my radius? So technically, when you're doing the distance formula, whatever number is inside your radical ends up being r squared. It's just as a kind of fun little tip. So looking at number 3, I didn't give you a picture, but I gave you the center and I gave you the point. So since I gave you the center and I gave you the point, all you have to do is find the distance between the center and the point to get your radius, and then you can write your equation. So go ahead and pause this video and try that problem on your own. Let's go down here. Write the equation of a circle given 2 endpoints of the diameter. So notice I'm given the diameter. So in order to find the the equation of a circle, I need to know the center, and I need to know the radius. All right, well, I'm not given either of these in this situation. So how do I find the center of this? What does center mean? Center means middle. How do I find the middle between these 2 points? I gotta do the midpoint formula. So 3 plus 1 divided by 2, and 5 minus 3 divided by 2. 3 plus 1 is 4, so 4 divided by 2. 5 minus 3 is 2, so 2 divided by 2. So my center is 2, 1. And it's always good habits to actually go and try to plot this, 2, 1, and make sure that looks like the center. Yep, it does. Alright, so now how do I find my radius? You have a couple of options, my friends. You can either find the distance of this diameter and divide it by 2. That's going to get you your radius. Or you can find the distance from the center to one of your endpoints. You could either do the yellow line I just highlighted, or you could do the blue line I just highlighted. It doesn't matter because this radius and that radius are going to be the exact same answer. I'm going to do the one where we do the diameter and then we have to divide it by 2, just because those are the points I'm given. So I'm going to do 3 minus 1 squared plus 5 plus 3 squared. So I have 4 plus 64. So I have to do the square root of 68. So the square root of 68 is 8.2. So my diameter is 8.2, which means my radius is 4.1. So now I'm going to write my equation. X minus 2 squared plus y minus 1 squared equals 4.1 squared. I can't do in my head, nor can I type very carefully into a calculator. I get 16.81, which rounds to 17. If I had found the radius or the length of just this yellow line or just this blue line, I would have also gotten 17. But I showed you what to do that. I found the distance of the diameter and I divided that by 2 to get my radius, so then I could write my equation of my circle. All right, let's do the next one. I need to know the center and I need to know the radius. How do I find the center when I have a diameter? I gotta do the midpoint formula. So 2 minus 6 over 2 and negative 1 minus 3 over 2. So I have negative 4 over 2 and negative 4 over 2. So it looks like my center is going to be negative 2, negative 2. I'm not going to plot that and make sure that looks like my center. Yep, sure does. So now I got to find the distance. Do the distance in blue again. So alright, distance. If I find the distance of my whole diameter, I'm then going to have to divide it by 2. So let me scroll just a little bit so we can see it. So square root of negative 6 minus 2 squared plus negative 3 plus 1 squared. So I have 64 plus 4. Really? Is that really going to be the same answer? Let me double check and make sure I did not mess up anywhere. So I did negative 3 minus 2. It's negative 8, which squared is 64. Negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2. So, yep, square root of 68. So that's going to equal 8.2 again. So my radius is going to be 4.1 again. Cool. So, my equation, x plus 2 squared plus y plus 2 squared equals 4.1 squared, which is 17. So notice sometimes I'm given a problem where I didn't give you the picture, but I just said the 2 endpoints that make the diameter are this. If these 2 endpoints didn't make the diameter, there's no way I could solve it, so I have to assume that they're the diameter. So I would do the exact same thing. I'd first find the center by doing the midpoint, and then I'd find the distance of that and divide it by 2 to get my radius. So go ahead and do that problem, and then when you're finished, make sure you're following along with what's the next process of the day's lesson.